everybody, and welcome to a fantastic session on supply chain visibility. And we're going to focus on a certain case study out here. We'll get to the brass tacks of what happened in this whole case study. And this is for the Digital Magazine anniversary issue. And joining me in this very exciting conversation are two people who are anything but strangers in the world of supply chain. They're, in fact, I would contend, experts in this country. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Ranjan Sharma. He's the CIO and head of supply chain management, captive e-commerce business, and quality assurance at Bestseller India. And giving him company is Apurva Mankad, again a long-time veteran, founder and CEO of Logicloud. I had the privilege of knowing both these gentlemen over the past decade and a half very, very closely. And some of the questions could be a little too direct. So please do take the liberty of answering them to the best of your capability.
Sure, Sidhu.
So, starting off with you, give us an idea about your business. We've all heard of Bestseller India, and we've heard about the brands that Bestseller India kind of engages in India. But then I'm not too sure if people make the connection. So if you could just give us an idea about your business, the number of stores that you have, the number of SKUs that you handle, the stocking points that you have, that will kind of set the base for the discussion.
Just giving a background, and I'll also reiterate again the name of the brands because many people don't understand what Bestseller stands for. We have a huge number of brands globally. We are based out of Denmark, and in India operation, we have only got about 5 odd brands that we operate in. And the brands are Jack & Jones, Veramoda, Only, Selected, and we are launching another brand which is called Product. All these brands are sold through multiple channels. So one of the key channel that we started with in the country is the EBO channel, where we would have close to about 200 plus stores, along with some franchisee stores, which could be nearly about 40 odd, which is there in the tier 2 and the tier 3 cities, 1,500 shop-in-shop stores across different retailers, the multi-brand retailers, the large format retailers, then our own e-commerce business. And apart from that, the marketplace e-commerce players like Myntra, Amazon, Flipkarts. Beyond that, we've started a small distribution channel as well in some of the categories. So that's where we operate today.
Wonderful. So 200 EBOs, 40 odd franchisee stores, 1,600 MBOs, marketplace, distribution. You love things getting really complex, don't you, Ranjan, on the supply chain front? So
yes, absolutely.
What are the 3 main points that keep you awake? Wake up at night. I mean, this is a very complex operation, and especially given the last 1 year of pandemic, where you had this entire dance between essential, non-essential. It's almost a start-stop kind of an arrangement that was coming in. It must have been a huge challenge on your as far as your business is concerned.
Bestseller. One thing that we've always talked about is always staying young. As an organization, though we are there in the country for about 11 years, as globally we were incorporated in 1975, the year I was born, and and still we would continue to operate like a startup. And hence, what is very, very important is to be agile and have that speed. And if you look at the number of channels that we operate in, each of them comes up with their own nuances, their own ways of working. And with so many stocking points, the challenges are in terms of being able to fulfill those channels, each of those channels on time, because that's a very, very stringent ask from a brand's perspective. The day a product is bought or even designed or approved, we already know when this product is going to be in the store. And hence we start working backwards from a supply chain perspective, which means that we can't afford to miss those dates. The second big ask from us is in terms of the whole of the logistics space itself, which is given the dimension of the country, it's so difficult and to predict and be able to balance it. And hence you've got to manage that aspect of it. The third big aspect is also to be able to provide a complete visibility across your entire supply chain to the entire stakeholders, so that they are able to take decisions as and when it is needed in terms of being able to adjust or readjust something. And these are the key asks, which is always a challenge for us.
Interesting. And you are in the fashion apparel business, and so where shelf life is about 1.5, 2 months or 3 months,
Yeah, 6 to 8 weeks.
to 8 weeks, and that's a fast turnaround. Um,
Yeah.
Apurva, are these problems unique to Ranjan, or are these problems that most of the folks in his particular domain face?
So if you look at fashion as an overall domain, I will say that these problems are absolutely for everybody. But some of the leading brands like what Ranjan runs, Veromoda and only, they are even more acute because they need to be seen to be fresh all the time. They can't be complacent about it because it's a premium brand, and the end customer and the consumer expects to be very exclusive in nature because he's investing that amount of brand equity into the product and the love. So even more important for brands which are on the premium segment. But on the whole, fashion as a segment, by definition, becomes a fickle segment as far as the consumer is concerned, and speed is the most essential part of this business.
Rather than just a technology knowledge, to be able to work with us and evolve with us. That's where Logicloud actually came in handy for us. One, I knew Apurva for long because in my past experience, I had worked with him for some of the technology, and I really liked his supply chain knowledge because he was not just a technology entrepreneur. He also had a strong supply chain knowledge, which was adding up to the overall layer, and which is a must in today's world because the domain knowledge is the one which gives the right shape to the technology.
So if you are not quick in terms of delivering, right, even if I eat 1 week of your time into supply chain processes of warehousing and transportation, making it reach the customer, I've eaten up so much amount of your time. And this is, as I said, across industry, more so for a company like Bestseller. So we said we must have a solution, first of all, by looking at these problems around. And before we go and approach a company like Bestseller, we must do some homework. So we kind of created an entire product set, and we first reached out to large number of logistics companies and first saw the environment. Are these people ready?
But I can obviously share some benefits in terms of one process which helped me in terms of reducing my losses, which was the POD of availability of the POD, the digital PODs. That reduced my losses or my disputes by almost about 25% margin, and that's a huge saving for us.
Take the visibility problem, right? If you ask, let's say even 8 years ago, 2012, 2013, you would have gone to, let's say, taken a survey of 20 top logistics companies in India and asked them, can you give me a digital POD? They would have said, yes, we scan it and you can download it from my website. But they had no APIs available to send a binary file, for example, right? Or you ask them that, can I in real time check you will be able to deliver in that pin code today? They will say, well, I have a list which you can keep for next 6 months. From there, we have evolved after, the advent of e-commerce and Amazon and Flipkart. They realized that, they need to really up their game. So the ecosystem got ready only recently. That's one. Cloud, for example, wasn't available. Look at the scale, right? The amount of data we process. We work with Ranjan, we work with multiple customers. Today, on an average, given day, we will be processing close to almost 300,000 odd boxes of data into our system on an average. And do note, we are a B2B enterprise kind of a platform. And you multiply each of these transactions by 7, 8, 9, 10 stages of data, all the way reaching up to delivery confirmation. So you can imagine the amount of data you generate. Without having a good cloud technology scalable platform, some of these things would have been impossible to do, let's say in 2008, 2009, or 2011, which are possible to do. So from a risk point of view, we look at not only the problem which is available to us, but we also look at whether we'll be able to solve it. No point taking blind risk.